All right, Greg, the most ridiculous thing that you heard over the 2 days, and what do you think it means?
Okay, so I was the first day. I was in on Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, and um, the most ridiculous thing that I heard that basically like I had to push back on. Like he started to answer me back, and I had to streamline it and really be pointed. Sort of like if you've ever seen like one of these memes, like "But why?" was was when Joe Judge talks about like, and here's just part of like one quote. He's like, for us, it's important right now for all of our coaches to be able to coach all the skill players, okay? Or for that matter, the line players as well as we go through this. And as we divide up and run 2-spot, 3-spot drills, it's important that if it's a ball handling drill and Vinny Cincinnati is running it, he's the running backs coach, that Vinny can coach the quarterbacks as well. We're all on the same page. It's been a main emphasis for us as a coaching staff that we want to make sure we can coach all the players and then nobody's out there, with a lack of knowledge in the offense. So it all sort of stemmed from there. It was all about offensive coaches needing that it's important that and he also used the word emphasis on us needing to be able to coach all the offensive players. And quite frankly, if he's being serious, if Joe Judge is being serious, and I've heard from a lot of people who have worked from Joe Judge in the last couple days about this, and they think he is being serious, it's patently ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I pushed back. I said, why does an offensive line coach need to be able to coach the quarterback? Now, look, he talks about things like Vinny Cincinnati running a ball control drill or ball security drill. Absolutely, that happens on the field. Absolutely. Does he need to tutor Mac Jones on if he's going through the line and Mac Jones isn't tucking the ball the right way? Does he need to coach him on that? Hell yeah. But it's not important. It's not that huge of a deal. You're like, we're not talking. There's a difference between that and the other skills and drills, as Joe Judge puts it, and teaching a guy how to throw a guy open against, cover 3. There's a difference between that. And so for Joe Judge, what worries me, Nick, is that he's being serious about this. And he thinks that this is actually important and emphasis and that he needs to spend time on this. He doesn't need to spend time on this. I don't need Matt Patricia as the offensive line coach getting involved with Mac Jones. You got 5 players plus bench players on the offensive line to worry about. Billy Yates is around, but Matt's got enough on his plate. The wide receivers coach, whoever that is now, I'm getting mixed up. I think Kaylee's with the tight ends still. Oh, it's Troy Brown and Ross Douglas. Like, I don't need them involved with the running backs and vice versa. Like, I'm hoping that Joe Judge is just saying that to like waste time and talk, but I think he's serious about it. And to me, what worries me is that if he's already making a priority out of things that don't mean jack crap, then what about the finer points? Like if I'm Mac Jones, and I'll just let people know right now, and just to give a little hint, and I'm sort of working on this in the background, but I've heard from people in the last couple days about what's going on with the offensive coaching staff, and the initial reports I'm getting back are not good at all, and that includes what they're hearing from the players internally. Like it's not going in a good direction. And, we'll flesh that out as it goes further. And if I get more, because I'm not just running with a couple sources on this, to really get down in the nitty gritty, I need to talk to more people and make it more well-rounded. But this is the kind of stuff that's going on. And I heard from people like, listening, people who were with the Patriots, have Patriots ties, heard about Joe Judge's press conference, went and watched it. And they're all texting me like saying like, what the F is he talking about? Like, this is all wasted energy, and that's my worry. If you're wasting energy on this stuff, if you think this stuff is important, it's not important. What's important is Mac Jones's development. And what I want to hear from this coach is a plan for Mac Jones moving forward. I don't want to hear about you having to coach the running backs or the offensive line. And so this stuff is starting to worry me. If Joe Judge is being serious, and I think that he is, and I know we've talked about it before, Nick, that, this doesn't sound good and we'll wait and see and things like that. But,
Right.
I'm starting to get a little bit worried.
Couple things. Joe Judge loves to talk. He is just a nonstop verbal diarrhea kind of guy. He just loves and loves to chat and yap. So take that into account when you look at this and what he had to say. The second part is, like you said, if this is true and if he's being honest and transparent, I find it interesting that Bill Belichick's number one slogan is "Do your job." And what is the job of each of these guys? To me, when you say do your job, that means focus on what you're supposed to be doing and do it to the best of your ability. And if everybody does that together, we will win a lot of football games. How does that message jive with the idea of, oh, be involved on this side, be involved on that side, be involved with this, be involved with that? It doesn't to me. Like, if you want to, again, clarify roles and say, do your job, Joe Judge, your job is quarterbacks coach and play caller. Matt Patricia, your job is to work with the big guys up front. That's it. That's your job. Do it to the best of your ability. I don't like the, multitasking across the offense. Matt Patricia, something else that stood out to you. You asked him why it's a good thing he's on offense. What did he say? And your reaction to what he said, Greg?
Not a whole hell of a lot, but I don't know what look, he does have some offensive background, and he pointed that out a few times. I think he was an offensive lineman in college. He helped, coach there, Syracuse, I think, RPI, even his early days here with the Patriots. But, I still don't. They talked a lot about how Bill, makes well-rounded coaches. I mean, that's great and all, but if Joe Judge wants to be a wide receivers coach in addition to being special teams coach, cool. I'm cool with that. Now we're talking about these guys have gone from basically special teams and defense to now being the brain trust, the guys in charge of offense, and that's what worries me. That they are in charge of a lot of things, and look, I have more confidence in Patricia because I know how smart he is. I know, not that Joe Judge works his ass off too, and I have a lot of respect for Joe, especially as a special teams coach. Matt has a little bit more experience on the offensive side, and obviously Belichick has been grooming him for something, with his sort of variety of roles last year. So I have some more confidence in him, but it's still a tough look on exactly where this coaching staff is at this point in time, and we'll have to see how this goes going forward.
Ultimately, the biggest question is this any good for Mac Jones?
It can't be. Look, if people out there want to have faith in Bill Belichick that at 70 he still knows exactly what he's doing, even though this is a complete departure from what he's done in any of his previous years, especially the Super Bowl years, then that's fine. I respect that. And I respect Bill. And he has earned many lifetimes of trust to see this through. But if I'm Mac Jones and I'm coming off a pretty good rookie season, I just lost the guy who tutored me the entire time. And, from what I heard, yes, Mac Jones is very smart. We all know this. Mac Jones needed a lot of coaching. He needed a lot of help last year, and that's not going to change this year. He's not suddenly, if you think Mac Jones is suddenly a 10-year vet, the people that I've talked to, they don't believe that is going to be the case. Maybe Belichick knows otherwise. Maybe he thinks that Mac Jones is ready to basically be like, Tom Brady year 5 or year 10. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to discount that. But if I'm Mac Jones, I want a QB guru, somebody who has a track record, has done it for years of developing quarterbacks, of years of studying the position across the league, across the NFL, and somebody who has a plan for me, a proven plan to keep me going on an upward trajectory. And I just don't see that person on the staff, especially if it's Joe Judge being the quarterback's coach, which we think. He said, I am going to be coaching Mac. He will be with other people. I don't see this as how this is the best avenue for Mac Jones to continue his upward trend. I don't see it. Nick, I don't know if you feel any different.
Far from ideal. Look, I want an experienced play caller in there. I want an experienced quarterback coach in there. I would have loved Bill O'Brien. We talked about it when I was back at the Airbnb in like January, doing it from my kitchen. We talked about Bill O'Brien and the idea of bringing him in, and that, you know, he was, to me, the best fit for this kind of a situation. And them going with Patricia and Judge absolutely is questionable. It's a big time question. It's a big time question for everybody. You know, and so it's not ideal. I would hope for one message to the quarterback, as I said. You know, having multiple voices in his head is not good for him, even though he's seemingly a really smart guy. I hope Brian Hoyer can help him. I'm not saying that Brian Hoyer is the magic elixir, but can Brian Hoyer help the situation with Mac Jones? And, you know, obviously there's lots of confidence from Belichick and Jones. As you said, Greg, you know, if from what you've heard, Mac isn't, you know, a 10-year vet and he needed a lot of help with coaching and all of that. If you want to try to take a silver lining out of this, it is that your head coach, Bill Belichick, believes that your second-year quarterback can handle this kind of a situation in these circumstances, which means he has a ton of confidence in Mac Jones, in his IQ, in his maturity, his leadership, et cetera, et cetera. One final thing I'll say about this before we get to some good, because there was some good that the assistant coaches talked about. This is the most critical aspect of this franchise for the next 5 to 6 years, getting it right with Mac. If you do not get this right with Mac Jones, and this is not hyperbole, this is not Stephen A. Smith screaming at you through the television screen. If you do not get Mac Jones right, if you don't handle him correctly, it will set your franchise back 4, 5, 6 years if you don't get this right. If you get this right, you're taking steps forward for the next 4, 5, 6 years, and you can start to envision this team winning football games again at a high clip. You have to get this right. If there's one thing that Belichick has to absolutely 100% get right unequivocally, it is Mac Jones, handling him and making sure he develops in the right way. Because if you screw it up, you can't take it back. You can't go back in time. They have to get this right.